each second. You never know, right? Okay. So in this case, what is the problem will come? That is called deadlock scenario. So we had given some example also, right? So whenever you are writing synchronized block, be very sure that it will be, it should work fine. Otherwise, what will happen? Both will be waiting for each other. Gone. Your work will not be done basically. Okay. Something like if I am working with T1, and currently T1 is working with R1 resource. Okay, and T2 is working with which resource? R2 resource. Okay, and to complete T1, what I need? Suppose I need R2, and T2, what it needs to complete its task? R1. Are you able to understand what I am telling? So now T1 is not able to complete. Why? Because to complete he needs R1. T2 is not able to complete. Why? Because he needs R1. Now both are waiting for each other, right, to release the resource, and both are not releasing. Why? Because they are working. Something like as I had given the example, if I am working, I am like working with this laptop. Okay. Now if you are, hey sir, please give me your laptop. Now I want to download one movie. I'll give you. No. Very simple answer. No. I am teaching now. We are studying now. After studying only I'll give you. Okay. Now I'll ask you, hey, please give me your notebook here, because I want to do some calculation in laptop. I am not able to do. Give me your notebook. Will you give me? No. Will you tell, no sir, I am writing your notes. Are you able to understand? So you are also not giving me. I am also not giving you. So what is happening? Both are in deadlock scenario. Okay. So if you go outside, Bangalore traffic is the best example of deadlock. Okay, so nobody can move that side, that person will also not come. Okay, this is very common over here in Bangalore. Okay, so similar to this, whenever nobody are able to move, this scenario is called deadlock scenario. We have seen with example also yesterday how it will come into picture. Okay, yeah. So now then we have seen, I had given one of the shortcut called, what is the one? WNN. Wait, notify all. So this is very famous question which will be there. Okay, so tell me, from where your run method is coming? Thread or object? Thread or runnable? Okay. Now if I ask you from where your wait method is coming? Object class. Okay. If I tell you from where notify method is coming? Object class. Okay. If I tell you from where yield method is coming? Yield will be coming from thread class. Correct. Okay. So very simple. WNN, these are the one which will be coming from object class. Remaining all will be coming from thread class. Very typical question you will be getting in written test. Okay. So they will give you yield method is part of which class. There will be many things. Thread, object, many classes will be there. So you have to choose the correct one. So you just have to remember this shortcut called WNN. Okay. Yep. Now okay, notify. You come back to this. So try to understand this diagram. How notify and wait will work basically. Okay. So what will happen? Suppose this is one first thread. Okay, who entered into the wherever the resource is. Okay, and what happened? He entered, and this is first step. Second step, what happened? That particular thread has acquired the resource. Acquired the resource means locking it. Lock the resource. Okay. Now tell me, if thread 1 has acquired this resource, any other thread can work on that? No. Something like if you have come for, you have come from your room. What do? You lock your room. Now can anybody go inside? No. As simple as that. Okay. Now when people can go inside and use your resource, when you will unlock it. Unlock means releasing the resource. Okay. So now try to understand this thread. What he has done? He has acquired the resource. Now when this particular thread will release the resource, there will be many threads which will be keep on waiting to get the resource. Got it, right? So when the other thread will get the resource, whenever the first thread will release the resource. So as soon as he will release the resource, there will be many threads will come into picture and they will acquire the resource. Again, acquiring resource, when he will release, then only all the other threads will be waiting. They will be keep on doing the task basically. Okay, so this is the way how the diagram happens. So if somebody will ask what is synchronization, then you can draw this diagram. Okay, so you just draw some sort of diagram. One thread will go, it will acquire the resource. Now after acquiring, when you release the resource, there will be one of the list will be there where all the waiting threads will be there. Whenever he release the resource, now waiting thread will acquire the resource, okay, and when they will done, then they will again release the resource. Thread will come, they will acquire the resource, he will release the another, so all the things will come into picture basically. Got it, right? So this is the way how your normal, what is that called, synchronization method works basically. Okay, so this is nothing but this is called inter-thread communication. What is this called? Inter-thread communication. Okay, so now how this works, try to understand. Okay, so if one thread is acquiring the resource, then that particular thread will call one of the method is called wait. What is the method that thread will call? Wait. Got it, right? Yeah. Now whenever this thread is done with his work, what he will call? He will call notify. Why to call notify? Notify to notify everybody that my work is done now. You can use that particular resource. Got it, right? So there are two methods which are called. One is called notify. What is the another one? Wait notify. Okay. Now there are one more method which is called notify all. What is the another method called? Notify all. So we'll try to understand one more. Okay. So why we use wait method? Okay. To acquire the resource. Okay. To acquire the resource means you are putting the lock over there. Okay. To acquire the resource. And why notify we called? To release the resource. When we are done with task. Okay, whenever you are done with the task, you will use notify. Now the third one is your notify all. What is the third one? Notify all. Any idea when notify all will be called? Any idea when notify all will be called? Tell me. All are? Okay. So try to understand. I mean, there are two ways. Okay. Suppose I have acquired this room. I mean, wherever we are sitting, I have acquired this room. Okay. And there are many people who are waiting to get inside. There are many people, they want to use this room. Okay. There are two ways to tell other people. Okay. One way, if any of your friend is waiting outside, what you do? You will lock this room. Okay. You will before releasing the lock, what you will tell? You will tell your friend, hey, I'm releasing this room. Please come. Otherwise, anybody will come. Are you able to understand? So you are biased toward any of the thread. Are you able to understand what I am talking about? Okay. So that is nothing but notify. Notify means what you are doing. You are not telling all the threads which you are waiting. You are telling to only one thread, which is your favorite thread. Got it, right? What is the other way to do that? Other way to do that is before unlocking, I will notify to everybody, hey, I am unlocking the room, please come. Then what will happen? Many people will try to again get inside, right? Are you able to understand? So these are the two ways by which you can release the resource. One way, you can notify to everybody who are waiting. Another way, what you can do, you can notify to your specific friend or maybe any specific thread basically. Got it, right? So what notify will do? Notify will notify to a particular thread only. It will notify to a particular thread only. Okay. After releasing that, and what is the notify all? It will notify to all the threads who are waiting. Okay, so it will notify to all the threads which are waiting to start working with the resource. So that's what we have discussed here. See, what is notify? Notify will wake up only a single thread who are waiting over there. And what is notify all? It wakes up all the threads they are waiting for the objects monitored as well. Okay, so notify and notify all. Now this is very typical interview question which should be asked. Okay, so what is the difference between sleep and wait method? What is the difference between sleep and wait? Very important interview question. Okay, what is the difference between sleep and wait? Okay, can you tell me at least one difference you can tell easily? Okay, any difference? Yeah, so blocking one thread. Yeah. So from the WNN what we have studied, can you tell me one difference? The WNN which we have studied, what is WNN? Object or thread class, right? So tell me by that, can you tell me one difference? Wait is part of our object class and sleep is from thread class. Okay, so this is the first difference. So note it down. Okay, so what is the first difference? Okay, wait is part of object class. Okay, and sleep is part of thread class. This is the first difference. Wait is part of object class, thread is part of sleep. Sleep is part of thread class. Okay, yeah. Now let's try to understand other differences. Okay, so now tell me, whenever we write sleep, okay, so we will go to our code where we have written sleep. I think here we might have done. I think here also we are having. Okay, so tell me where we have written sleep. Did we? Yeah, so here whenever we are writing sleep, we are using class name. What we are writing? Class name dot sleep. So tell me what type of method can be called by using class name? Static method. Got it, right? So tell me what sort of method this sleep is? It is a static method. If it is not a static method, can you call from your class name? No, I cannot call it. Got it, right? So what is the second difference? Second difference is very simple. What is that? Sleep is a static method. Sleep is a static method because static methods are the one which can be called from your class name directly. Non-static you cannot call class name, which we have already studied in your class. Static thing. Okay. And what about wait? Wait is non-static. Wait is non-static. Okay, wait is non-static. So sleep is a static method, wait is non-static method. Okay, now let's talk about the third difference. Okay, so third difference means try to understand, is sleep method related to synchronization? No. Can we achieve synchronization using sleep method? No. Synchronization can be achieved by two ways. What are those? Inter-thread communication, or we were having that synchronized block or method or something else. Okay. So note it down. Sleep has got nothing to do with synchronization. I mean sleep will not affect your synchronization. Okay, sleep has got nothing to do with synchronization, but wait. Now only we have seen, right? So wait and notify are the things which should be followed. Okay. So sleep has got nothing to do with synchronization, but wait will be, I mean, it will acquire the resource we have seen a little bit earlier. Okay, yeah. Now let's discuss about the fourth point. Okay, so there are two. I'll give you one simple example, then you will be able to understand what is the difference I am talking about. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to my home. Okay, and I'll sleep for 5 minutes. This is one of the way. Then how much time I am sleeping? I am sleeping for 5 minutes. Okay. Now what does wait means? Try to understand. Okay. So wait means what will happen? I called you from home. I'm late today. So I'm going to office. So in office somebody is waiting for me. Okay. So I told him, hey, please wait for 5 minutes. Then we will have lunch together. What does that mean? That means I can reach before 5 also. Okay, between 5 also, exactly at 5 also. If I will not reach, then what will happen? That guy will go for the lunch. Are you able to understand? So in sleep, whatever time we are specifying, that is the exact amount of time. I mean, if I tell I am sleeping for 5 minutes, so what will happen? Can it be before 5? No. Before 5 minutes, I will not wake up. That's what I am telling you. Okay. What is the another one? Wait. Wait means the time can be before 5. After 5 is not possible, because after 5 that particular guy will go to go for the lunch, right? So maximum 5 minutes. It can be less than or equal to 5 minutes. But here it means equal to 5 minutes. You don't have less than scenario, less than or more scenario. Are you able to understand what I am talking about? Okay. So something like, see, try to understand. If we'll write the code called sleep. Okay, and if I'll make it something like 5 seconds, what does that mean? That means your thread will be blocked for exactly 5,000 milliseconds. Okay, 5,000 milliseconds. Exactly 5 times. I mean, whatever time will be there, those would be specified about that basically. Okay. But if we'll mention like this, okay, then what will happen? What does that mean? The time the thread will wait for maximum 5,000 milliseconds. It will wait for maximum those much time basically. Okay, if he came before, I mean, if notify came before 5,000 milliseconds, no problem. Got it, right? So in sleep there is no notify. In wait we will have notify. That is the fifth point you mentioned. Okay, what is the fifth point? Wait must be implemented with notify. Wait must be implemented with notify. Okay, and sleep does not require it. Sleep does not need notify. Okay, so wait must be implemented with notify or notify all. Anybody can be there. Okay, so you can have notify all also. Sleep does not need notify. Okay. So wait must be implemented with notify all, and sleep does not need notify. Okay. So these are the difference. Okay. So that's what we have discussed now. So wait and sleep. Wait method releases the lock. Sleep does not release the lock. Okay. Lock means synchronization. What we have discussed. Okay. Wait is method of object class. This is your thread class. Okay. Wait is non-static. This is static. Okay. Both the points are same. Should be notify by notify or notify all. It has got nothing to do with notify. So this is very typical interview question. Written test you will not get, but interview question you will get it. Okay. So these are the, I mean, we have studied more differences. Okay, almost 5 differences, 5-6 differences. Okay. Now let's move to one of the design pattern which is called design pattern. Okay, design pattern. Okay, so we'll study one of the design pattern called singleton design pattern. Very frequently asked design pattern. Okay, what is the design pattern? Singleton design pattern. Okay, I'll give you an example, then you will be able to understand what this particular singleton design pattern is. Okay, so I'll open our Eclipse. Okay, I'll go to main class. We will comment all the things which I have done. Okay. And we will start pressing. Okay, so I am creating one of the class. Okay, I am creating one of the class called test class. What is the class name? Test class. What is the class name? Test class. Okay, and always whenever we create the object, what gets called? Constructor. What the first line gets called whenever you will call object? Constructor. Okay, so we will create the constructor. So what is the special thing about constructor? It will have same name as your class name, no return type. Okay, so these are the so it is your constructor. Okay, I am printing something. How to print something in the console? System.out.println. Okay, so you will just give it as a test class constructor. Test class constructor. So whenever you create object, what things it got called? Test class. Okay, yeah, now let's try to have one of the variable, public or maybe private. I will make it private static int. Okay, I am having one of the variable called counter. What counter is doing? Counter is keep on checking how many objects you have created. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll make it to something like I'll just here I'll show it. Okay, so I'll do counter plus plus. What counter plus plus will do? It will increment my count. Okay, and you are just printing here. So all the time whenever object will be created, it will tell you how many objects are created, because I am doing plus plus inside your constructor, right? Whenever you create object, constructor. Okay, constructor. Are you able to understand what I am telling? Okay. Now I'll go over there. Okay, so and I'll create test class object equal to new test class. This is one of the object. I can have many objects, right? I can have many objects like this. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you able to understand? So I am creating how many objects? 7 objects. So what should be the count over there? 7, because it is static, right? Static means it will keep on implementing your whatever the counts are. Okay? So how many objects you created? See, 7 objects. Are you able to understand? Now suppose if you are writing your code, okay, and by mistake some guy has created many objects. He is fresher, he does not know, he is having a little bit of knowledge, so he has created many objects of your class. Okay, now where object goes in our memory, it will go to heap. So similar to 7, you might have thousands of your objects. Thousands of your objects means what will happen? Your heap memory will become full. Are you able to understand what is the problem which we will face? So when you are testing, there was no problem. Okay, now when you have gone to your production, there you found the problem is in some problem. Are you able to understand where the problem? Your heap size is getting increased. Got it, right? Now what is your solution? What is your solution? You don't want somebody to create n number of objects. You want to create how many number of only one object. One object per class. Got it, right? So if you follow some set of rules, then you will be able to achieve this particular solution which we are discussing about. Okay, so what is the solution? Singleton design pattern is your solution. Okay, so let's note it down. So what is singleton design pattern? Okay, so this is a design pattern. Okay, this is a design pattern by which we can create one object per class. We can create one object per class. You cannot create many objects. If many objects will be created, there will be some problems while going through. Again, not always. It is in a special case you will create it. Okay, or else what we can say? So restriction of number of objects to 1. So this is the motive of your singleton design pattern. Okay, so what is the singleton design pattern? Restriction of number of objects to 1. Only one. You don't want to create many objects. You want to create only one object. Okay. So we will discuss about some of the steps. You just follow the steps. You will be able to achieve this particular singleton design. Okay. So what is the first step? First step is very simple. Okay. Make your constructor private or protected depending upon your requirement. What is the first step? Make your constructor private. So if you will make your constructor private, what will happen? Any other person cannot create object. Who can create? Only your class can create object. Inside your class you can create object. Okay. So first step is make your constructor private. Okay. Second step is create an instance variable of object. Okay, create an instance variable of static instance variable of object. Okay, static instance variable of object. Okay, then write one method called get instance. What is the method I am telling you to write? Get instance. Okay, what get instance will do? The logic inside get instance will be very simple. If number of object is 0. Number of object when it will be 0? When no objects are created. Okay, then what to do? Create new object. Got it, right? So if number of objects are 0, create new object. If number is more, then use the older object. Are you able to understand what I am doing? If number is more, then no need to create object, right? You use the older one. If it is not there, then you create the new one. Okay. Now how will you check number of objects is 0 or not? Okay. So we can check the instance which you have created, right? So you can check something like this. You can check if okay, whatever the instance. Suppose my object name is maybe test is the name. Okay. So if we will do equal to null, when it would be equal to null? When object is not created. Means what you have to do? You have to create the new object. So how will you create the new object? You have to do some sort of test equal to new test class. Got it, right? So if it is null, you have to create new object. If it is not null, you use the older object. there is no problem. Very simple. Okay, so yeah, so these are the 3 steps by which you can achieve this. I mean, whatever those singleton design pattern we are discussing. Okay, so let's follow it and create this design pattern. So we'll go to our test class where we are doing. Okay, so we'll go here. So what is the first step I told? First step what I told, we'll make our constructor private. I have made my constructor private. As soon as I will make my constructor private, what will happen? You cannot create the object. So if you go here, you will get all will be compilation problems. So you have to comment it. So you cannot create object from outside. Okay. Now what is the second point which we discussed? Create an instance variable. Okay. So I will create one instance variable private. Okay. I want to create the object of this private, then static. Private static test class. Okay. I have created one of the instance variable. This is your second step. Okay. What is the third step? Third step is very simple. What is the method I told? Get instance. Okay. So I will go get instance. Get instance method I will write. Okay. And this must be static. Why? Because it will call your static variable, right? Because static can call only static, non-static cannot call, right? It must be static. And what is the return type? It must have return type of your class, the class which you are creating. The class which you are creating now, that would be the return type. Okay. And here what we do, we will, as I told, we will check it. What is the check? If test is equal to null, create new one. Otherwise, use the old one. Okay. So we will check it here. We'll check it if test class is equal to null, means this object is null. Then what you have to do? You have to create the new one. So how do you create test class equal to new test class? Are you able to understand? If it is already there, object is there, don't do anything. Okay, you return the older one basically. Okay, so here what you can do, you can return what you return the test class. So else condition you don't have anything, so it is of no use writing else condition. You can write like this. Got it, right? This is nothing but this is a singleton design pattern. Okay. Now let's try to implement it. We'll see whether it is working or not. Fine. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll make this as a public because we want to call it from outside, right? Otherwise we will not be able to call it from outside. So I'll go here. Whenever I want to create the object of your class, so what is the class name? Test class. Class 1 equal to, how to do? Test class dot what you call get instance, because static method can be called using your class name, right? So I am directly using it. Okay. Now let's try to create another object. I want to create maybe 7 objects, whatever we were having earlier. So I'll go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same thing what we have done earlier. I am doing this. Okay. Now if we write this code, see how many objects are created? Only 1. Got it, right? So this is the example of a singleton design pattern. Okay, so very frequently asked question. Okay? Singleton. What is singleton design pattern? And the code which we are writing here is very important. Okay, so no need to write this counter. Okay, counter was just to show you I was using it, but it is up to you. I mean, you can remove this counter, not mandatory. So counter is not part of singleton design pattern. I have used it to show you that how many number of objects are there. Okay, so other codes are this is the code. Okay, so just note it down. So now this is the sequence of questions which you will get. Okay, first question is what is singleton design pattern? Then what should be your answer? Restriction of object to one. Now the second question will be please write the code. Then you have to write this code, the code which you are doing. Okay. Now the third question, if you written the code correctly, now the third question should be, is it synchronized? Got it? What my question is this code or singleton design pattern synchronized? What is synchronized? Only one thread can work at a time. So is it synchronized or not synchronized? It is synchronized or not? Tell me. Synchronized. How? One object we are creating, that's fine. Okay. So try to understand. Suppose there are two threads which are working. Two threads means both can work concurrently. Both will work simultaneously. Okay. Suddenly what happened? You came to line number 16. First thread came. Second thread can also come, right? Both can execute together, right? So if both will come together here they will come null. Second thread will also come null because both are working simultaneously. Okay. Now how many objects can create? It can create more than one objects, right? Because more than one thread can work. So first thread is not over from here. Before that only second thread came and created your object. Are you able to understand what problem is? Because thread means it can work simultaneously. So both the threads are working, then both threads created object. Are you able to understand? So is it synchronized? It is not synchronized. Then what should be your answer? Singleton design pattern is not synchronized. Because both the threads can come together, na? First thread is not over. I mean, it did not create the object. Not like second thread will also create the object. Na? Yeah, maybe after that this thread will come, they will see object is created, then it will not be created. But before that it will be created, right? So that's what. So synchronized design pattern is what I discussed here. Singleton design pattern is not synchronized. Okay, singleton design pattern is not synchronized. Okay. So what is the singleton pattern is not synchronized. Singleton design pattern is not synchronized. Okay. So when you will do this, then they will ask, how will you make it synchronized? This is very typical. 5 questions will be in sequence. Okay. So now, if someone how to make it synchronized? How to make it synchronized? Tell me. How to make it synchronized? You can use any way, the one which you are synchronized block or synchronized method. Okay. So what you can do? That's all. Over. Now your singleton design is synchronized. Just use synchronized over there. Now only one thread can work at a time. When first thread will come here, what will happen? He will execute this task. Now second thread when it will come, then what will happen? It is blocked. So second thread cannot execute. When first thread is over, then what will happen? Count will become 1. Means it will not be null. Second thread will come, it will check, yeah, it is not null, then it will not create. Otherwise, if it's concurrently happening, there is some chance that it can create more than one object also. Okay, this is one of the way. I mean, we can make your synchronized method. Okay, or else what you can do, you can make your block also. So how will you make your block? Here you can do synchronized block. Okay, you write this test class dot class. Okay, and you can put this code. Insert this. This is also fine, no problem. So both are okay. So these 5 questions are in sequence and very important. You know? So singleton design pattern, then code, they will tell you to write the code, same code you have to write. Okay. Then they will ask which is synchronized, then you will tell no. then they will tell how do you make it. Then you have to write this synchronized block and all the stuff. Okay, so yeah, so that's what see here. What is the purpose of singleton enablement? To control the object creation, limiting the number of objects to 1. Okay, any instance field of a singleton will occur only once per class. Okay, just like your static fields. Okay, and it, so when we use singleton design pattern, try to understand. Okay, so suppose if you are doing some database connection, so whenever you do database connection, what you do, you have to open some port, right? Port will be open. Okay, now if you will do many connections, then what will happen? Many ports will be open, right? So now if many ports are open, what will happen? It will create a lot of problems, right? So something might not work. The dedicated port which was there, it is already blocked by database connection, right? So that port might be not available for the important task which you are doing. Okay, what will happen? Your application will become slow. So in this case, what you want to do, you want to open only one port. Then what you do, just make it singleton design pattern. Then what will happen? Only one object, that object will open the port. So only from one port only you will do all those database connection and all those things, rather than creating many ports basically. Alright, right? So that's what, whenever you are doing some sort of socket programming or database access, you should use for this singleton design pattern. Okay, so this is very efficient design pattern which we use, okay, and very frequently used. So this is the sample code which we have studied now. So this is your class. My in our example it is test class. Okay, we have created the object here static, then your constructor was private. Okay, and what is static variable class name, then get instance. We are checking if object is equal to null, created, otherwise return the name. That's all. So this is the example of your singleton design pattern. Okay, so this is the example of singleton design pattern. And whenever you want to create the object, how will you create? St equal to my singleton dot get instance. That's all. It will automatically create the object, and you can do all those operations also from here. So you just have to remember the 3 steps for singleton design pattern. Okay, so these are the questions which you can prepare from this particular chapter, and then we'll start our end of thing. Okay, so what all questions we can prepare? Let's discuss. So how many ways we can create thread? 2 ways. One is extending thread and implementing runnable. And which is good? Implementing runnable. Why? Because design, so some sort of modularization it gives us. Okay, so implementing runnable is better than your extending thread. Okay, plus one more problem what was there, you cannot extend because Java does not support multiple inheritance, right? Yeah, difference between thread and process. Thread is a lightweight subprocess. Okay, and one process can have many threads, but one thread can work with one process only. It cannot work with multiple processes basically. Yeah, life cycle of thread: new, runnable, then running, blocked or blocked, then dead. Okay, so only one thing you have to remember, that unidirectional. So only one place is bidirectional. You can go both ways. What is a daemon thread? Thread is which is service provider. Okay, so they just provide the service to your user thread. Okay, yeah. So now whenever we will create, whenever your user thread or user thread will die, daemon thread will also automatically die. Okay, how to make a thread daemon? Set daemon. Set daemon is the method name. And can we make already started thread daemon? No. Before starting only you have to declare the thread as daemon. Okay. What is synchronization? Synchronization is nothing but mechanism by which only one thread can execute at a time. Okay. And how many ways to achieve it? There are multiple ways to do that. Okay, so first one is your mutually exclusive, so that can be divided into three parts. What are the synchronized method, synchronized block, static synchronization? What is the second way? Inter-thread communication. Inter-thread communication means wait notify implementation. Okay, so these are the ways to do it. Parent class of methods. Wait, what is who is the parent class? Wait, tell me. Wait, object, notify, object notify all, object start, yield, join, run. What is the one? Thread. Okay, run can be in both places. Thread class also, runnable also, depending upon the implementation. Implementing runnable or extending thread. What is singleton design pattern? Only object creation one, number of objects to one. Okay, sample code which you have already seen. Okay, and is singleton design pattern synchronized? No. If you want to make it synchronized, how will you do? Just make your method synchronized, or you can have block of synchronization also. Difference between sleep and wait. So tell me, sleep is a what? Sleep is static method. Wait is non-static. Okay. Sleep. If you are doing, what will happen? It will be exact amount of time. Wait will be maximum those amount of time. Okay. And sleep is part of thread class. Wait is part of object class. Okay. And one more difference I forgot. What is that? Okay, wait has got to do with synchronization, sleep nothing. Okay, so that's what. And wait will work with notify or notify all. Sleep does not work with notify or notify all. Okay, what is deadlock? So one thread is waiting for another thread is waiting for first thread to release the resource. Okay, so this is very simple. And deadlock, they will ask and they will tell you to write one code. Okay, so the code which we have done in the class, okay, in your previous tutorial, that code you should know basically, step by step part how you have done. Okay, now you can go to this link which is over there, so you can follow this link, and whenever you will open this link, it will go. Are you able to see? One small sort of 15-30 questions will be there. Just attempt this. This is this okay. So see, which class or interface defines the wait, notify all. Tell me which class? Object class. Okay. Next. You keep on doing next. Now automatically these questions will be done. Okay. So practice this from here. These are the two links which are available at the end of your PPT. So these are the interview questions which we can prepare from this chapter. Okay. And yeah. So let's start tomorrow. Tomorrow we will start this. Okay. So tomorrow we will start Android. So before coming, just go through this architecture, Android architecture. Okay. Chalo, we'll finish it.